Welcome to Book Time with Ryan. I'm Ryan, and today I'll be talking about Lethal Range by Ryan Steck. This is book number 2 in the Matthew Read series. I read the first one a couple weeks ago, I think, so check that out. Loved it. Loved it again. Really great. And I'm in preparation for Ryan's next book that's coming out that's part of the Ted Bell series called Warmonger. I think it's like a week out, maybe, a little bit more than a week. Wait, what's today? Yeah, it's a week out. So I think a week from today. So I'm excited for that. I've reserved a copy at Barnes & Noble. So I need to read the book I'm currently reading in a week. But before we get to that, this book is, I think, a year to a year and a half after the end of Fields of Fire, which was book number 1. And we pick up with our main character, who is was a Marine raider, now is kind of taking over his, I don't want to say adoptive father, but the JB is the guy who raised him. He died in the first book, and he's taken over the farm that he was kind of raised on. Also, he got married to Emily, his high school sweetheart, who he reconnected with in book number 1, and they had a child, Matthew Jr., who, that's why I'm saying I think it's a year to a year and a half later, because he's still an infant. I know it says in the book how long it's been. I can't remember. This one was very fun. One, there's an appearance of somebody, a staff member from the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. What? CFTC made an appearance. Way to go, CFTC. We have Matthew Read, obviously, his wife, Emily, their baby, Matthew Jr. We have his best friend, Mikey. What's his best friend, Mikey's wife's name? Elizabeth, I think. His father, spoiler alert, Gavin, is his father. And that was one of the things that we found out right at the end of the last book, and it was, what a reveal. He is also in a higher position at the FBI now, and they are looking for Anton Gage, who is a member of this secret group called the 12, which they're basically trying to, this makes them sound good, but they're not. They're doing mean things. They kind of save the world by eliminating a good chunk of human population, because we are a disease that has infested this planet, which isn't, that far off, but it's also pretty harsh as a human. They, the first book was kind of the reckoning with Anton Gage, but he escaped. He's on the lam, and Matthew Read is a contractor with an FBI fly team to try to apprehend him. So that's what most of this book is. It's going for Anton Gage and the Infidels, a outlaw motorcycle gang with ties to Anton Gage, which we find out more about, who is harassing him and his family in Montana. Lots of killing, but I think tasteful killing, and just the right amount, and not crazy. Although there are times where I do feel like, in a less than appreciative jury, Matthew Read could really face some time, just because some of the stuff he's doing is very violent, and he's not in uniform, and he's not outside of the country doing it to bad guys. He's doing it in the state of Montana, but they're also bad people. So he's dealing with the harassment of his family. His wife is attacked by a motorcycle gang while she's driving. I appreciate that she thought about using her vehicle as a weapon, the Tahoe, because, when push comes to shove, you could drive motorcyclists over. Don't do that, but you could. And also their baby is poisoned. He does okay, but that's a scary part. I do like that Matthew is a new father, and a lot of his fears about Matt Jr., are along the lines of a new father kind of fear, which is I identified with 7 years ago. What happens in the end? Well, You're just going to have to read it to find that out. But there is some resolution, but there's not a lot of resolution. We have some resolution, Anton Cage, but the thing that we have to remember is he's just one of 11, or he's one of 12. So there's 11 other ones, and I don't know if he would be replaced quickly. So, I mean, we know that there are 11 other ones, but I don't know at this point if there's actually 12 other ones because he's been replaced or what. We'll see. There are 2 more books in this series, which I will get to after I read Warmonger when that comes out next week. So, 5 stars. Great book. This one came out in 2023, and I'm really enjoying the Matt Red series. It's like such a fun. I've been reading a lot of like nautical, they're true stories, so they're kind of like horror stories because it's like everything goes wrong in the Arctic, and they're real lives, and there are people who die, and it's pretty tragic, and it's fun to go from that, which is pretty heavy, to just a fun, action-packed book. So, and that's what that was. You know what I'd love to see, and I don't know what Ryan thinks of this, Ryan Steck thinks of this. I think it would be very cool if there was some kind of overlap between the Hawk world and the Matthew Red world. And let me tell you what overlap they could be. There is a character in the Hawk series, the Alexander Hawk series by Ted Bell, named Ryan White. And that character could show up in the periphery in a future Matthew Red book. I don't want to like plant the idea, but I do. Ryan, Matthew Red is a color. Ryan White is a color. It's perfect. And then for the people in the know, they will know that that is the little bit of crossover between the 2 worlds. And that Alexander Hawk and Matthew Red live in the same universe. And that they live in our universe because I'm real too. Ooh, spooky and exciting. Maybe not even really spooky, just exciting. So, I'm just putting that out there, okay? Don't have to do anything with it, but you should. That's it today. Thank you for being here. And I don't know if I said this yet. 5 stars for this book. Really great book. But I will see you later. And in a couple weeks, probably we'll be talking about Warmonger. Ted Bell's Warmonger by Ryan Steck. Ryan, you're doing awesome. You have another book review in the Ryan Steck playlist on my channel. I don't want to say that means you've arrived because that on this channel is very low bar, but in this channel you've arrived, and that's cool to me. You've already arrived everywhere else, but just here, your playlist is starting to fill up, and I'm really enjoying it. So thanks for being here. Have a good one. Bye.